Alright, hello, greetings and welcome in everyone. Hi, my name is Harrier, Citadel, Avian Alien Sentinel of Fort Misthaven, perpetrator of creative chaos and general maker of things. Welcome in. Good morning, Bread. Welcome. How goes? Are we sure it's morning? Or is morning just, what we call whatever at time it is when it is that one wakes up? How are we doing? It's going good so far. Lots of thoughts going on. Ah, okay. I see. I hope that the thoughts are not insurmountable. But yeah. Brain, catch up with me. My brain is already drawing. Whoopsie. Okay. I figure if it's 5 o'clock p.m. somewhere, then it must be 5 a.m. somewhere as well. Exactly. It's always morning somewhere. It's always morning somewhere. More a case of a lot I want to do, not enough time. I get you. I understand very, very well. I get you there. That makes sense. We are, for the first time in I don't know how long, actually on a European time zone stream. Crazy, right? We're actually on a Europe time zone stream today. But that also means that it's a shorter stream than usual, because I need to do a reset back into my own time zone. Crazy. And that means that we should probably jump straight into the meat and potatoes of things. Otherwise, what's going to happen is that I am not going to actually have enough time to be meaningfully productive. So let me just park over here. There we go. I did another set of refinements on my microphone, so hopefully this time I won't peak the microphone and hurt everyone's ears. I apologize. That is a thing that had been happening recently. But I did run a couple of tests, and hopefully now it should be more stable. Hopefully. Yeah, that looks like it's not doing the dumb. It's around about the loudest sound I usually end up making around here. Sounds fine to me. Yay! Victory! Awesome. Alright, so, we were working on this panel, which is a bit of a money shot, and this one is needing to be separated between all of the pieces. So, yay. Yeah, it wasn't audibly awful with the clicks. Okay, that's a victory. That's definitely a victory. Because I hadn't been noticing that it was peaking on clicks and claps and bumps and what have you, and I did not like that at all. So I can only imagine how absolutely disgusting it must have sounded for everyone else. So thank you for your patience in allowing me to figure out exactly what I needed to fine-tune to get that under control. Hopefully it will continue to be more manageable at this time. I have actually got my hydrate timer running at the moment. Yay, surprise. So it's busy ticking along in the background. And with that, we need to look at what we have going on this particular shot. So we've got torso, the opaque skirt, and the legs. I am gonna probably I just want to see here. I'm probably going to adjust, yeah, all of this, or at least a good portion of this now that I'm looking at it again, especially with the legs, because that angle is not looking right by long and a ways. It's amazing what happens with second day eyes. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start with cleaning up what got broken on the upper torso, which still has legs attached to it for some obscure reason. So that needs to go away. There we go. So, in my iteration of reality, what has happened this day was surprisingly little. Actually, not surprisingly little, because I actually only had about, what, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, I only had like 5 hours of workday really to my disposal so far. This day, on account of changing the sleep patterns and what have you. But what I did manage to do was I managed to put in a little bit of extra time on the Harrier version 2 reference sheet. There was something that was bugging me and I wanted to fix that. And then I proceeded to get brainworms a little bit and worked on Ebony's reference sheet a bit as well. I think I might have made a couple of corrections to his entire build in such a way that he doesn't look out of proportion, because something about how he was looking previously in the initial sketch reference was not working. But I think I've managed to fix that. I think. Yeah, that does line up right. Okay. Now, what kind of collection of flowers is that? Okay. So, it's one big blossom surrounded by a bunch of little ones. So, obviously I never managed to finish it, but yeah, I have put some work in on Ebony's reference. He's starting to slowly but certainly take shape. This is the initial body shape that I had pulled in, well, the initial facial shape that I had pulled into Blender for the first test model that we started with a couple of months back. It's terrifying to say a couple of months back now. But starting to actually apply the hairstyle and things, you start to actually see him as he's gonna actually be. So, a couple of adjustments have happened, but he's slowly but certainly starting to take shape. So, it will definitely look a bit different when everything is in place and everything is shaded. At the moment, the hair is still looking very, very flat. But at the moment, I'm just glad that we've got build in place. time keeps moving. But also, that's nice work. Yay! I'm glad. Yeah. I figured that since Ebony is someone who has a very kicking heavy combat style, it makes sense for him to have more solidly built legs. So he ended up having a much sturdier torso build than in the previous sketch attempts that I'd worked with him before, but I'm not upset with this. I feel like it suits him quite well. So I shall apply the rest of his outfit another time, but slowly but certainly it's coming together. I still need to figure out what the shape of his ponytail is going to be when it comes to the 3D side of things, but that is another day's problem to figure out. Also, that is an issue that I will not be able to sleep now that I've seen it. Hold up. Come over here. There we go. Just repair that, because that was going to drive me up the wall. That was going to drive me up the wall. Okay, save and close on Ebony, because you are not the subject for today. But that's what I had spent some time on. Yeah, I'm feeling much better knowing now that I have a... Oh no, what happened to your eyes, boy? What happened here? Oh no, what shifted? I'll have to fix that. Oh no. Oh no. Anyway. Ugh. No. Save and close, or Control Z. Yeah, no, we did the save and close. Okay, so here we have got a 5-petal flower with no clear center. There we go. And chop the points off. There we go. There we go. So now what I want to do is I want to duplicate that. Come on, catch up with me. What are you doing? Something like that, okay. And duplicate again. Like that. Okay, merge those two down. And duplicate. Like that, okay. Hide you, hide you. There we go. Alright, we've almost got our collection. Nope, undo, undo. Merge that one down, and then on this side. Merge that one down. And duplicate again. I'm going to clear that one. Okay, and it again. Okay, so that little collection of flowers now is functional. going to park them like that. Okay. That works for that set of lines. Great. So for everything that belongs to the upper torso, I think we are almost there. It's just the necklaces. And that is... going to get cheated. Like this. Okay, there we go, there we go. That's looking a little bit more dynamic and balanced. Okay. Krahazek, hello, hello, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Okay. Now, where is my temp swatch? I do not want the temp swatch. I want to come back here and grab that color and go fill. No. Fill. Okay. Grab that color. And fill. And fill. And let's fill in the gaps. Okay, am I doing the done? Let me just think about this very carefully. Did I just do the done with those colors? Very likely. Very, very, very likely. Okay. Undo everything that I just did since filling. I want to separate these colors because I do not yet know how I want to handle the lighting and shading on all of this, and therefore having the pieces in the different colors separated is going to save me headaches later. Okay, then over here I've got gaps that need filling, like that. And then we need the flowers. Okay. And then there we go. Just to be sure. Hmm. That should do the trick for you. But I want to come back to the gold layer that we had for these. Okay, that'll work. And then also the bangles. Okay, and that is our hydrate. So everyone, time to acquire our nearest safer consumption beverages, and let's take a sip. Okay. Reset. There we are. Okay, then we've got the hair color, which I believe is that. Yes, okay. Now I want to do that one on the one just above the skin, because otherwise it is difficult to identify. Because they're such similar colors. Your gulps are very audible now, thought you should know. Thank you for letting me know. I'm not surprised by that. I kind of flattened half of my bottle of water in one go, and I am known to be a loud swallower. I apologize if that's a bit off-putting. Especially when you know you're especially thirsty. But at least you guys know that I was definitely hydrating, right? But I will, if it is off-putting, go back and reassess and see what I can adjust to see if I can tone that down. So it wasn't mic tuning issues, that was Rhea unhinged to jaw engulfed the water like a snake. Good to know it was one off. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those things that I have been teased about for as long as I can remember, is that I swallow loudly when I'm especially thirsty. So, thank you for making me aware of it. I will definitely see what I can do to minimize that going forward. Alex, hello, hello, welcome in. But I do think that the mic tuning might be a thing as well, a little bit, now that I think about it, because let me just switch that off for a bit. And there was silence. Wow, that hits. I do know that this microphone is designed to specifically pick up voices on more softly spoken individuals specifically. It's kind of what its claim to fame is, this particular mic. And as a result, it can pick up sounds, man. Like, I'm just gonna shut up for a second. Let me know if you can hear the hydrate timer that's ticking away, because it is a little bit less than a meter away from the microphone. Could you hear it? Could you hear me? I'm literally not engaging my voice at all. You can hear it. Oh my word. So you see, that is why the background music is kind of a non-negotiable. I don't think I can, and I can hear you, though I do have tinnitus. Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me too? Okay, yeah. So the microphone is really, really, really good. And that means that I have to do a lot of balancing acts when it comes to the noise reduction and sound gating and everything. Because sometimes I really do just mumble. Like, quite badly. And the amount of contrast between me when I'm speaking quietly and the stuff that happens in the space is not necessarily always big enough to, you know, work with the mic tuning. And it's not exactly a habit that I want to necessarily work on, because at the moment, obviously I need to be mindful of everyone else in the abode who operate in a different time zone most of the time, and therefore do not want to have loud people yapping through the entire house at 2:30 in the morning, ultra audibly. So for now, being a little bit quieter as a speaker is to my benefit. Okay, there we go. That's it for the antlers. Now, was the inner ear also lighter? Yes, the inner ear was also lighter, which I believe is that color, which is barely any different. The amount of low contrast that happens is amazing. Like, these hues are just so close to one another. Wow. But okay. Structurally, that's a good starting point. For our upper torso. So the next structure that we need to sort out is going to be the legs. There we go. But for this, I just want to see what's on this layer. Nothing. Okay. What I want to do is I want to switch on the sketch again so that I can just see what I had happening here with the anatomy. Because I am not convinced. So that's where that's supposed to be. So no, it actually works out. Okay. But I'm not happy with that angle. So I'm just going to adjust that from that anchor point. Like so. Okay. Hide that. And clear that. No, not clear it, just make it less. There we go. Okay, hide the upper torso. This can't be good for blood flow, but anyway. Alright, nearly there. So now what we need to do is add the thigh leaves, because there are leaves that live all the way down this leg. Okay, almost done with the first line. Okay, getting places, getting places. Okay. There we go, there we go. Leaves applied. Leaves applied. Hide that sketch. Okay. So, job number next is remind ourselves which is the skin color, because it's impossible to tell looking at the color history. Grab outside. Expand by 1 pixel, invert, and fill on the correct layer, please. Okay, so problem for correction is that needs to go up higher. So clear that. Getting there, getting there, getting there. Okay. So that is going to be our leg section. And it needs a color swatch for our vines. All good there, grand. Okay. And it would help if I put that on a different color group. Okay, getting there, getting there, getting there, getting there, getting there. Next color on the swatch is definitely that. For this front section of the skirt. And then we're gonna need our gold again. Hide the lines. Okay. That was the dumb. That was the dumb that I just did. Right there. Okay. Try that again. Alright, and then this is gonna go in between, and we can now see that the curvature is way wrong. Way wrong. Okay. So on this one, we're gonna go clear. Just like that. Hide upper torso, hide legs. And just like that, grab that color, grab everything, expand by 1 pixel, invert, and fill on the correct layer, please. Okay, show upper torso, show legs. Progress. Progress. Okay, now what we need to do is I want to go back to the legs layer and add the other part of this on top here. Because it's not going to move separate from the leg, we can get away with it and it will look more appropriate and intentional. There we go. And save. Also, just fair warning, we are 2 minutes away from the next hydrate timer. Okay. Come on, catch up with me, catch up with me. Okay, duplicate. I want that one behind. And emptied. And now what I want to do oh no. that's the hydrate timer. So everyone, let's acquire our nearest safe for consumption beverages and take a sip. Okay. There we go. So now when we layer these up, it's starting to look a little bit more complete. Okay. So there's still a sheer skirt that goes on top of this. So let me just think very carefully here. Duplicate. Empty. There we go. Now here, what we're gonna have is the top line. And how many waves is this? 1, 2. Okay, it's 2 waves. So that'll go 1, 2. And in. There we go. Okay, now once again, hide upper torso, hide, hide, hide. Now, Let's have a look at how this behaves, right? That is visually inconsistent, so I'm gonna need to bump it a little bit. So first things first, we have a center stem. Which lasts up until when? Around about there, at which point it splits. Okay, then something like that ish. Okay. Okay, slowly but certainly figuring out this pattern. Nearly there, nearly there. I know this is looking a little bit very visually confusing. I am using all of my brain cells to keep track of what is on which layer right this very second. You got this. Thank you. I'll come back to that. Okay. Okay, was that wrong? Yes, it was wrong. There needed to be 2 in that space. Okay, crazy. Something like that. Then there are one, okay, now let's just check where's the torso. There. Which means then we're gonna have the split leaf like that. Okay. It's looking kind of chaotic, but it all makes sense, hopefully. It'll hopefully make sense. So first things first, we're going to do our shear layers. Just hide the temp swatch because we're not using that at the moment. Grab everything. Expand by 1, invert and fill. Okay. And this is going to be 20%. Now we duplicate. everything that is a single layer gets chopped out. And for the sake of my sanity, I need to go to my canvas, change my paper color to something where I've got contrast, where I can actually see what's happening. Because I can't with all of this white. So there, where there's 2 layers, we've got double, and now we duplicate again, and where there are 3 layers, we've got triple. Okay. And now 1 more after we hide these, in which we're going to apply all of this chaos. Okay. Something like that. Okay. So now, when we stack those together, we should get something okay, visually complicated but functional. Woohoo! Okay. Whew. That was a small mission. Let's just hit the save button on that. Just make sure that we don't suffer chaos. Because now I'm going to need to put a piece on this side as well. Okay. So hide upper torso. If it'll just catch up with me. I'm just still dealing with machine deciding to take forever. How is it already 11 at night? I feel like we've hardly gotten anywhere. Also, I forgot to reset my timer. It's time for a hydrate. So, everyone, let's acquire our nearest safer consumption beverages and take a sip. Okay. Hide upper torso. Legs. Inks. Actually, no. Undo everything there because I want to do that on a one layer up. So hide that, hide that. And this one becomes 20, and then that all goes in there, like so. Upper torso on. Okay, great. Great. So now we've got the opaque skirt front. We're going that needs to be renamed to back. We now duplicate this. empty it. Rename to sheer skirt back. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to copy. Oh, now am I being dumb? Not entirely. Okay. Copy this. Paste. Hide, 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 hide. Get rid of everything except for this topmost line. Okay, now switch this one on. Choose black. Okay. Okay, nearly there. Hide the front. Okay, now I need to close all of these ends. Okay. So now, grab everything outside. Expand. 1. Invert. Fill. Deselect. 20% opacity. Next layer up. There we go. And sorted. Okay. That was chaos, but it was a victory. Oh boy. That was a victory. That skirt is a little bit brain bending. It makes sense if it's laid out flat, but it's a little bit brain bending with the pleats. The skirt came out great. Yay! And the entire point of this is to be able to do a little bit of wind flap wavy animation with it, with the different parts of the skirt. I want to do the same with the sleeves as well. Which means I'm gonna have to do the same madness with the sleeves. No. Oh dear. Okay, it's fine. We'll survive. We'll survive. Woohoo! You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to set the hydrate timer again. It's been about 10 minutes, I think. Yeah. So I'm just gonna drop that down to 20 instead of the usual 30. My dad just delivered coffee. Yay. So what still needs to happen on this before I can even think about deciding on what we're going to do with light and shading or what have you is the braid, the sleeves, the leg tattoos. There's also a shoulder tattoo. It's quite a lot. It's actually quite a lot still. And then obviously still eyes and facial markings and bangs. So yeah, there's a lot to do still on this particular panel. It's a long panel to put together. But it'll be worth it. Then let us move on to the sleeves. So let's go duplicate that layer, clear it, call this one sleeve back. Okay. And here what we're going to do is we're going to get firstly a silhouette. Let's start with a silhouette. Hide the torso. Okay, that was lucky. That was very lucky. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it gratefully. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take that and duplicate it, put it on top of the torso layer and call it sleeve front. There we go. And I will look at that in more detail in a bit. But first let's return to sleeve back and apply some patterning. All right. I need to just ease that a little bit more. Okay. Then we're going to have another stem. Okay, there we go. Okay, that will work. Okay, fundamentally, that'll work. We can build off of this. Okay, so then on the front side, first things first, we've got to chop open the front of the sleeve like that. Okay. Once again, we are breaking brains. It's fine. The main thing is it'll look good in the end. Trusting. Gotta trust the process and cook, yep. That's what I say when I cook food and ignore all recipes and get surprised when it turns out badly. Well, there's a difference between cooking off of recipes and cooking off of principles. If you can get the principles, then you don't need the recipes. Like, cooking is different from baking in that regard. I can't really cook, I just throw stuff in a pan and see if it works. I still, one day want to do cooking streams. And you will then learn just how chaotically I eat. All the things are eyeballed in terms of volumes. Can't be worse than me. I mean, I've never successfully cooked chicken before. It's like a curse that forces it to be raw. Oh no. That is a first that I've... That is a first to hear from my side. My condolences. Especially since chicken is one of those staples that's a foundational ingredient for so many things. So, here's an option for you. Have you ever considered the acquisition of a slow cooker? I love chicken, but I hate how people in the UK cook it. My aunt always boils. No, you don't. The only thing you boil is a soup. The only thing you boil is a soup. I'm sorry. You do not... This is why they say that people in the UK can't cook. Okay. You do not boil chicken. But yes, acquire yourself a slow cooker and get yourself some deboned chicken fillets. Alright? Throw them in the slow cooker on low for a half a day with salt, white pepper, clove, and a little bit of ginger. Right? That, if you fill a slow cooker like that, is going to cook over the course of like a half a day or a day into a lovely boneless, fibrous mass of chicken that can then be frozen, and that is meal prep for like a month, maybe more, depending on how many people are eating out of it. Half a day, it's probably not going to work for me. I forget things if it's not in front of me. No, what you do is you just switch it on in the morning, go about your day. When you come back, you switch the pot off. Like, you walk out the house, you've switched the pot on, you come back, you switch it off. They're usually electric, so there's like a almost null fire risk unless your house is really badly wired. And if you have been out of the house for a couple of hours, then you will immediately know when you walk in, oh, the chicken is cooked, because you will be able to smell it. I don't have a freezer, sadly, but I'll definitely look into this. Yeah, because then you've got basically this perfectly ready, already deboned meat that can be used in pies, curries, literally any meat dish that's a saucy one-pot wonder. Soups, you've already got already cooked deboned chicken for your soup. Whatever. We do the same thing with stewing beef as well, so that we have those beef and chicken options already made and already cooked, so that even if you just want to quickly throw a little bit on a plate with some rice and veg, it's a full already prepared meal. It's just heated up in the microwave and it's good to eat. It is immensely helpful if you're on the run. You have sold me on this. I love soup. I'm glad you enjoy soup. But yeah, the slow cooker with the pre-prepped stewing beef and chicken is like, honestly, one of the most convenient things that has ever happened to my household, personally. No chance of it blowing up? That's a pressure cooker. Yeah, the pressure cookers are the ones that blow up. A slow cooker is literally just a pot that's in an enclosure, like an open top enclosure with a heating element that makes it go hot, but like subtly hot. It's like this thick ceramic pot that you layer your meat into. And the trick there is to not put any vegetables in the pot. Right? The trick is to not put any vegetables in the pot because that goes rancid. Right? If you just have the meat, then you can mix it with whatever you need for whatever recipes that you want to make. So, sure. There's so much that you can do with it. It's good for mixing into pastas as well. But yeah, look for a slow cooker, not a pressure cooker. Won't lie, I don't buy a lot of vegetables outside potatoes and garlic. I think that vegetables are best eaten in their whole and mostly uncooked states, personally. So when it comes to that side of affairs, like, you might want to just give them a little bit of a fright. Just, like, slightly, steamed. But not soggy and mushy and sad. Also, that was a hydrate, so everyone, let's acquire our nearest safer consumption beverages and take a sip. Then I'm going to fill this sleeve, and that's where I'm going to call it for today. I gotcha. My aunt overcooks veggies, so I understand it being sad. Yeah. Overcooked veg is sad. When it goes all slimy and grey, it's just, no. Why do you disrespect your food so? Okay. So, now let us take that away, take these away. Okay, now what I want to do is grab this color. I am on the correct layer. Grab everything, expand by 1 pixel, invert and fill. There we go. Same over here. Grab everything, expand by 1 pixel, invert and fill. There we go. This side. Fill, 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 fill. Fill, 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 fill. To be fair on her, she did grow up right after the oh no. Don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but I get it, I think. Yeah, I get you. I get you. After insert, very important, but not necessarily liked entertainment topic. Read up on your history and approximately which decade. If you know, you know. Right? Yep, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately around the world there have been a couple of those sorts of occasions in the last 100 years. You'd think we'd have learned by now, huh? Okay. So, that is complicated looking. I am going to save myself pain and duplicate and flip and manipulate that for the opposite arm, I think. Indeed, but as the saying goes, history repeats itself. Yeah. It's because people don't learn their history and they don't realize, oh, what caused this thing? Let's not do that. Let's not do this stupid. Right? Anyway, yes, save button. It looks very good. I'm glad. Okay, so if we put on our crop mask, where does it end? Waiting for it. Come along then. Hurry up, machine. Process and get done, please. Before my cat attacks my knee again. He has just descended, which means that it's entirely probable to happen within the next minute or 4. Chaos, where are you? There you are. Okay, are you ready? There we go. Okay. So, it'll probably be scaled in the edits, it's fine. It's easier to scale something down than to scale it up. That's for sure. Hey! Cat! Let me just let him out the door, because that's the issue. One moment, please. Come on now. Hey, just minding your own business and then you get fangs in your leg. Decided that my calf resembled a drumstick too much. Ugh. Just get 4 distinct little needles going yum. My cat goes for my face if she wants my attention. Yeah. You see, usually if my cat wants my attention, it's either slapping or biting my legs if I'm at my computer, or if I'm in my bed, Then he jumps onto my desk because he knows that if he is around all of the expensive technology that can fall over easily, I am going to run to get him away from there. So in both situations, he gets my attention very effectively. I don't know how to train him out of this. Like, my ears, even when I'm asleep, are tuned for, oh, that sounds expensive. Good luck. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So let's go and duplicate those. And we're gonna grab them, flip. And are we gonna get lucky? I do not think we are. Are we? Cancel, cancel, cancel. Hold up. Let me flip these over. Like that. Okay. I don't think you can untrain it to do that, sadly. Yeah. It would be nice, but it is highly, highly improbable. Okay, this is gonna need mesh deformation. Okay. So, you mesh transform. 2 that way, 3 that way. Yep. Cancel. It needs more pieces. Okay, take 2. Okay, I think that's about as good as I'm gonna get that one. now let's try here. See if we can get that to match, more or less. Okay, close enough, and now liquefy. Okay, now I just need to make edits on this, but we are mostly there, so. Okay, hide you. Let's just see what debris am I dealing with here. Okay. Okay. Now, lastly, this little armband. Okay, and then the rest of the stuff I will do probably in the run of tomorrow. Yeah, probably in the run of tomorrow. We shall see if I'm going to be doing membership streams tomorrow in Discord. So, if you are one of our members over on Fourth Wall, keep your eyes peeled on that. Is that an opaque pattern on a transparent detached sleeve? Yes, indeed it is, Sai. If that got communicated properly, then I am glad, because it has been a little bit brain-bending the last hour and a bit. to put this pattern on. Ooh, excited? Yes! So, membership streams happen on Discord at the moment. They are very informal. They happen in mute because I have potential IRL interruptions the whole way through, and Fridays are generally loud in my iteration of reality. Like, environmentally, the neighbors have garden services going, and there are vacuum cleaners and leaf blowers and all of the things happen on a Friday around here. So it's loud. And thus I do not stream on Fridays with a microphone. So for now, we just do our continuation of either Misthaven projects or more plot-sensitive parts of commissions in our membership streams. And then it's very casual. Unfortunately, at the moment, we don't have any VOD retention on that because it's literally just a Discord call with the screen sharing on. But it's fun. It's fun. We're able to have casual conversations the whole way through. So that also can be quite long. I think we had one that was something along the line of 10 hours, 13 hours at one stage previously. So if that kind of marathon work-along accessibility appeals to you, head over to my Fourth Wall and consider finding yourself on one of our membership tiers. All three get basically the same stuff. I am working at the moment still on better perks for the sentinels and for the skirmishers and paladins, but pending whether or not I'm actually able to figure something out, I might consolidate down to a single membership tier. I don't know yet. I'm still figuring things out. I am still very much figuring things out. But yeah, fun times. We have gotten chaos sorted. Our multiple layers, the foundations of them are now in place, so I am a happy burb for this project for this day. Whew. Okay. And there we have it. It's looking good. I am glad. I'm glad. Thursday streams are short. So, surprise, surprise, we are here again in Zatsu mode. Crazy. So, Thursday streams are short because obviously I'm busy resetting to my actual existing time zone. But in the last 2.5 hours we did get quite a bit done, so I'm not upset about that at all. We have had some success in getting Braid on board in terms of Project Mistave things, so that was nice as well to see a couple of good questions come up on all of the material that our very, very, very small and very, very, very volunteer team is putting together on that. So we have ideas brewing, and that's wonderful. And at least a roadmap for, okay, minimum viable product, what are we looking at? So we are figuring things out. And yes, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm actually putting everyone's reference sheets in more or less the same style as well. Finalizing proportions on the last people who I've only got like rough references for, and what have you. And it's slowly but certainly coming together. I can't put a timeline on when I expect to have at least all of Unit 46's reference sheets done and ready, as well as main supporting cast. I can't say at this stage, but we are very, very slowly but steadily chugging our way towards victory on that front. When I have Sishian's VTuber model finished being rigged, then I will also be continuing the process of the Wilhelm van der Bos test model that I've been putting together, which I am using as a learning curve experiment, largely to just kind of figure out processes, figure out how things work, what kind of rigging madness is going to be compatible with the things that we want to do. Figure out how I want the shaders to work, and etc, etc, body, fist-based, all that jazz. So it's a lot, but it's fun. And I'm probably going to continue working on some test sculpts as well. For those of you who can't remember, before the end of June madness hit, I briefly started experimenting with some Blender sculpting as well, and started putting together a test sculpt of Harrier that was intended to later end up being a posable model that can later end up being used as a foundation for things like 3D printable figures. So I have plans for that, and making that happen. I know that there is a plugin that exists. Yes, merch. I can't necessarily manufacture the merch myself, but I can provide the STL files. My wallet is ready. Well, for some slightly more normie-friendly merch, you can also check out my fourth wall. We have got mugs for the hydrates. We have got a couple of embroidered Misthaven badges. We have got a Harrier baseball cap as well as a tog bag, all currently in the lineup. There are a couple of other items in the fourth wall catalog that I would like to eventually add on, but for more VTuber-esque stuff, I'm seeing a little pom-pom. Thank you for the donation. Yeah, greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. Wait, why is that doing the dumb? Hold up. something is doing the dumb up here. What are you doing? VTuber-esque stuff. Yeah, things like button badges and whatchamacallit, acrylic standees and what have you. I know of a platform that ought to be able to handle that sort of stuff with pretty good, merch-wise, yeah. So I know a platform that has pretty good rates for the US and EU. So I'm still deciding if I'm going to take the dive on that and sign up and see if I can come up with a couple of things for it. But I'm still making up my mind. I obviously have to only work through places that do drop shipping, because if I try and do anything that ships to me and then from me to the rest of the world, you are going to be paying all of the shipping fees, and it's not worth it, and I can't warehouse stuff. So all of my options for merch at the moment need to be drop ship ready, basically. So that is the plan there. So at the moment I'm pretty much stuck with the fourth wall place. Who knows when VGen's physical options might open up. I know they are busy prepping to be able to handle physical storefronting for people who do like crafts and things, but I don't know if they're ever going to have options available as a drop shipping middleman. I don't know if they're ever going to do that. If they ever do, then I am very tempted to work with them through that, because that will solve a whole bunch of problems. Where's the link to the fourth wall? Let me go here. If I'm not mistaken, it should be. There. Will this work? Please work. Yes, it worked! Yes, it worked. Slash commands work. I've got slash commands for a couple of things, actually. I just keep forgetting to tell you guys about it. So, slash commands work for commissions, donations, I need to still make sure that I've got the right link in place for the Discord now that I look at it as well. But also things like my outfit toggles are also on slash commands as well now. So, wings, shades, jacket, glasses, eye patch, they're all on slash commands. But yeah, I will yet figure out whether I will be adding another platform to the list of links. I would prefer to use less platforms if possible, but for the range of stuff that I want to be able to offer you guys, I might need to spread out a little bit. And I've also still got to, on top of everything else, actually draw stuff to put on the merch, because that's kind of a big deal as well. Like, merch is tough if I haven't actually drawn the stuff to put on the merch. So I need to spend some time on that. And in order to do that, I need to actually have reference sheets for everyone so that I can have consistency amongst assets and potentially commission other artists to make stuff for a specific purpose of putting on merch. You know, all of that crazy madness, right? Because while I would absolutely love to be able to do it all myself, sometimes getting some guest starters also nice, you know? Sometimes. I know that there is one specific art piece that I really want to get commissioned. Specifically for Project Misthaven, actually. As in a piece of artwork that I would like to get commissioned to be a piece of artwork that will go into an environment in Project Misthaven. I'm glad you told me about merch. Order has been made. Yay! Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you. Thank you for supporting me. It goes greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. I hope that the merch serves you well. I'm very curious, what did you get? What inspired the opening of wallets for the fish? The bag and the hat? Hey, nice! Nice! I hope that they shall serve you well. I really hope that they'll serve you well. I needed a hat and a new bag, so yay! Okay, awesome. You'll notice that when it comes to the baseball cap, I opted for one that has a curved shield, because a flat cap is a fashion item, it's not a functional item. Really. But a nice baseball cap whose peak hugs the head nicely, fits nicely. Just so. Mwah. But yeah, the idea behind those pieces was to make it something that could be used in public without feeling embarrassed for carrying around VTuber merch, right? Keeping it classy. But yeah, I'd like to actually expand the series, specifically of the bags as well, so that we can actually have a themed bag for every member of Unit 46. That's something I would like to do. So I have the template still, I just need to actually come up with something that will work for all of them. So various tog bags will be available later. I'd probably still use it even if it wasn't subtle. I sometimes just wear my Jujutsu Kaisen hoodie when I go out. You know what? That's fair. That's fair. Like, some people are just a lot less self-conscious about it than others. But like, especially when it comes to things like... I know that my stream watching audience, for example, is predominantly male. And there is an awareness that it as a female streamer, to have merch that is cutesy, it might feel a little bit embarrassing for some of the guys to have cutesy themed stuff. That's kind of one of the reasons why I also lean towards the cool aesthetic than the cutesy aesthetic, on the top of the fact that I can't do cute to save my life. Well, or when I do, it happens more by accident than anything else. But like, consistent cuteness, I can't do cute consistently. But I grew up with sisters, so I don't mind being girly. I just know I'll slay. If you can rock it, slay, then power to you. Power to you. Honestly, I just want to be on the more conservative side, simply because, for me personally, I'm also a little bit more on the conservative side. I would love to be able to just, you know, rock whatever fandom madness I feel looks cool on a given day, if I had any. But it's also not mainstream enough in my part of the world. It's too inaccessible, it's too niche, and if I had to go around wearing anything fandom that I would want to wear or use out in the world, I would immediately get mugged because it looks way too fancy for anything that people wear in this part of the world. Like, hopelessly too fancy for anything that people that wear in this part of the world, especially for my demographic. Like, like, I will get mugged simply because, you're dressed too nicely. This reminds me of a YouTube video doing a deep dive on how anime piracy started. Yeah, and it's very interesting. I will have to share it. Oh, please do. But honestly, I've heard some prominent individuals, I can't remember who exactly, in the anime sphere commenting on how the issue with the anime piracy is largely an accessibility issue. And he's so right. He is so right. Like, people wouldn't have to steal if it was easily accessible. Like, I would love to legally be able to find and watch Wolf's Rain again. I would love to. Honestly, I would. But will there be a streaming platform that actually has Wolf's Rain legally on it? Not in the last decade when I went looking. Before it becomes lost media to the ether, I want to have it someplace, and people don't do reprints on DVDs and Blu-rays often when it comes to the older stuff, you know? So having a legal archive somewhere as a streaming platform would be a wonderful. Like Valve's owner said, piracy is almost always a service problem. Exactly, that too. Yeah. Like, Valve's got its own plethora of issues. Let's not shy away from facts here, but did you know that Crunchyroll was a piracy website once upon a time in its lifespan? Yes, it was. It was indeed. That was... It had that era. But it's grown into its boots. Now it just needs to sort out how it does its sorting of things, because when you've got the same series split across, or the same IP split across multiple instances, I'm looking at you, Noblesse. Why is the OVA separate from the main anime? It confused everyone and tanked the main anime, guys. It's got its own issues. Let's just be real, every company has its own issues. All of them do. Across the board, all of them. Right? But they try. Mostly. Nothing is perfect, but Valve compared to other gaming sites is a lot better. Like, I have yet to have a proper thorough look at good old games. Like, I have no idea, really, what the legalities are with that platform, but I know that a lot of people have vouched for it and having a lot of good stuff on there. But yeah, me being PC locked, also, one looks into how to find IPs to enjoy with some level of extra consideration. Yeah. But yeah, my main goals really are, whatever we do, I want things to eventually be Linux compatible. If I get an opportunity in the next couple of months to actually migrate my workstation machine from Windows to Linux, I will. I know Blender works on Linux. I know Godot ought to work on Linux. I think. It ought to. I need to double check that. I know my Huion graphics tablet has drivers that work for Linux specifically, And I know that there is a workaround to get Clip Studio to work on Linux with pen pressure, which is kind of the big deal. Godot should work? Yeah, it should. So if those, which are my primary software packages, Clip Studio, Blender, what will be Godot, DaVinci does, and Audacity should. If those software packages work on Linux, which I believe they do, all of them now, it's literally just, I need to just sit and do the migration, which will take me a couple of days to get my head around things, and I need to find the credentials for my Linux installation, because I did attempt to do the migration previously, but I did not have the right pipeline to get Clip Studio working at that stage yet, and I didn't have the right tablet drivers, so I couldn't get pen pressure to work. But yeah, if I can get my workstation, my work machine on Linux, I will be so happy, because immediately it means that half of the bloatware bump I don't have to deal with. Half of the bloatware that just sits and chews RAM, I'll suddenly just not have to deal with, and that will be wonderful. Yeah, the bloatware sucks. Yeah, the bloatware really sucks. And not having to fight with OneDrive and Copilot popping up despite my best efforts to get them out of my life as much as possible. So, yeah. It will be wonderful if I can get that right, but first I need to make sure that all of the big projects are safely out of the way. I also do need to double check about Live 2D and its compatibility. Now that I think about it, I forgot to check on Live 2D's compatibility. Although, depending on how I take things, I don't know. If I'm going to be spending more time working in the 3D side of things, improving on my life in Blender, I don't know how much more how much longer I'm going to actively work in Live 2D, specifically at this point in time. I don't know yet. Like, having the skill set is great to know, okay, this is how the pipeline sort of works, bloody fish paste, all that jazz, but I need to consider where I'm putting my effort, right? I definitely don't use programs to delete those things. I promise computer who's reading this, I really don't. Yeah, like we don't have things that get rid of all of that stuff that no one asked for, right? All of the stuff that nobody asked for. Sips coffee innocently. Yeah, no. So yeah, I'm really hoping to be able to do that migration somewhere. It might take a couple of days to just get my brain figured out around it. And make sure that I have everything safely in such a way that I'm not going to, like, lose working files or anything. Like, it should be safe. The majority of it already, it should be safe. But it's literally just mostly licenses on software packages. Like, I would very much hate to need to buy Clip Studio again from scratch because I messed up something with a licensing issue and forgot to deactivate something, right? So that I could reactivate the license key again. That would be like the biggest pain. But yeah. So I will... Cat's got the zoomies. Oh no! The zoomies cat has struck someone else as well. Gasp. Oh dear. Yeah. So, I will see about doing membership stream tomorrow. I will probably get a lot of IRL interruptions, so if my screen sharing does interesting things, it's probably because of that. And we'll try and plug away at more on the animatics, because there's a lot to do. So much to do. And we will see how far we get over the course of the weekend, right? Because deadlines are creeping up like crazy. Like crazy. So I need to get these things now done super fast. But alright then, guys. Thank you so much. Rest well when you get to it. I shall see you all when I see you. Possibly Sunday. I might do a US time zone stream on Sunday. I'm testing the waters on that idea. At the moment, it won't be on the schedule for a while, but keep your eyes peeled. I might throw up a waiting room for that. I got the estimate time for the things I ordered, and it's started the next month. Oh, nice. Oh, awesome. That's right around the corner. Fantastic. Awesomeness. Thanks for the stream. No, thank you guys for being here. To everyone who has been lurking, thank you so much for the lurks. To anyone in the VOD squad, also, you guys are MVPs. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. I will continue with getting through commission work as much as possible so that we can continue with more Misthaven things soon and very soon. Alright. Thank you, everyone. Rest well, and until next time, cheery bye.